All right. Well, here I am. Is I'm here, and we're doing a video about the reason why Mournblade broke up. And it was an interesting comment somebody actually left on my private messenger on my YouTube channel. My all 56 subscribers. Woo. Anyway, this guy, um, who was surprisingly was a Mournblade fan. And he tells me that he has two of our Mournblade CDs, Mangled Lives, of course, and he has 1917, which is he's a fan of, which he says he likes. And he asked us what happened with Mournblade. What the hell? I mean, why'd you guys break up? What's going on? So, yeah, I'm playing a little bit of games too. So he's asking, dude, why did the band break up? What happened? I said, well, let's get down to cases. The trouble actually started with Mournblade. Actually goes back to 2008 when we just finished our last Whiskey A Go Go gig. We played at the world famous Whiskey A Go Go right out here in Hollywood. And I was not very happy with our performance those two nights that we played down there. I was not very happy about it. And I was like, well, because we need to work on our sound a little bit more. We need to sound a little bit more heavier. So I had all these plans of doing, making Mournblade better, making it sound better. So for me, I had all these other ideas that was going on. Me being the vocalist and the former bass player. We had Andrew in the band at the time, was a stand-in bassist, because I wanted to give the guy an opportunity to play and be on an album. We was recording live at the Whiskey Go Go, which is unfortunately was not a very, very good production. I thought my vocals that night was very bad. The bass wasn't really on very well. Rick's guitar playing was kind of thungish or dung dung dung, So I was kind of like very, very disappointed. But I was going to attempt to be able to do something better and see if we could make our sound a little better. But during our practice, roughly about half a week later after the Whiskey A Go Go Club, that Todd, our drummer, has not been the most nicest guys. He was not a very good drummer, especially for a metal band. He was not very good. But he had an opinion, and he pretty much was on Andrew's case, because Andrew was not a very good bass player. So he was pretty fucking mad about that. He was like, you know what, why do we got this fucking guy? And Andrew told him, well, dude, you're always fucking drunk. And then the fucking arguing started, and the bullshit started. And Rick was one of those kind of guys that just, if he's in his comfort zone, Rick doesn't want to fucking rock the boat. He likes everything easy, comfortable, with no work. He doesn't like his comfort zone being messed with, and that's just the way Rick was. And what helped break up the band is that these guys were total ingrates. They'll shit on any opportunity given to them to do anything. And these guys were notorious for it, especially Rick. Now, in Rick's case, which I'm going to explain, is here's a guy back in the 80s, when I knew him, back in the 80s, that Rick always had this hang up about not playing like Eddie Van Halen or like some of the other guitar players are out there. Rick was just an average guy who could play chords. I mean, you can hear him playing on the albums, and he was actually with those fucking bar chords and these chords and this and this and this and his plucking. The guy was very good, and he picked up very fast. Picked up fast on the bass. He could play drums with no kind of education, musical education, ever. And then eventually he learned how to read music, which was easy for him. So we're talking about a guy who might have some actual, real talent. The problem with Rick is his fucking attitude. His attitude sucked. So basically what happened is he wanted, when I had the opportunity after I came back from Operation Enduring Freedom and Iraqi Freedom, I came back from serving overseas in my guard unit, and I had a lot of fucking money. And Rick says, I said, hey, why don't we record a CD? Oh man, that would be great. Okay? Rick, unfortunately, he didn't want to do the band, do anything. He didn't want to play live shows. He didn't want to travel. He didn't want to do any touring. He didn't want t-shirts. He didn't want patches. He didn't want posters. He didn't want magazines. He didn't want any of that stuff. Secretly, he did not want any of that stuff. And he was a self-saboteur. The only reason why Rick wanted to do the album, for he can get his name credited on an actual fucking album, is to have revenge against his brother. Because his brother, for years, told him that he was a piece of shit. He'll never fucking be on, he'll never play on any records. He's not Eddie Van Halen. He's just a fucking complete fucking douchebag. And Rick hated his brother. He hated his brother Ralph. Fucking hated this guy. He despised this guy with every part of his moral being. He hated him. And the album, the first one that we did, all that was is for revenge purpose. That's all it was for. It was for revenge. And when he finally did the album, he's like, check me out. So he went and took that album and he rubbed it in his brother's face. I am actually on a fucking record. That's my guitar playing that's actually on that record. What the fuck? What do you think about that? I didn't have to be Eddie Van fucking Halen to be on a fucking album. He was like, I didn't have to be. So the brother, and it was the only reason why Rick did the Mournblade. Other than that, he didn't really care. So when we finally got, started working on the next Mournblade EP, which is a 3-track EP, 1917, Rick said, no problem, I'll play it. No big deal. No sweat. He says, I'll play the fucking thing, no problem. Rick had no problem with it. He had no problem. As long as his name was on a fucking CD. But Rick did not want to work for it. He didn't want to support the CD by playing in shows. He didn't want to do any of that stuff. He did say he wanted to play at the world famous Whiskey Go-Go at least once in his life. At least once in his life is what he said. And he got his opportunity and he played. He got his opportunity to play at the Whiskey Go-Go and headline a show. Okay? He headlined a show. And he told his brother. He says, check that out, you asshole. I didn't have to be Eddie Van Halen to fucking play at the Whiskey Go-Go. I'm there with my own merits, blah, blah, blah. Well, unfortunately for Rick, he didn't realize that was my money that got him there. Okay? It was my money that he got revenge. Something he just could not let go in his life. So, when fucking Mournblade finally fucking blew up in our faces, Rick decided, you know what, we're no longer having fun. I really don't care anymore. And he just didn't give a flying fuck. He just didn't care. Because he was a self-saboteur. He was having problems of his own. His own life was kind of in turmoil. And it's understandable. I was trying my best to try to help him out the best I can. And unfortunately, Rick kind of fucking took that is and kind of took it to heart. And basically what happened was after Todd was continuously writing Andrew over and over during our practices, telling him he doesn't know how to play, he doesn't know how to do shit, and he was telling Todd, you're a fucking drunk, you're fucking the band up. And then fucking Rick says, you know what, I don't need this fucking hassle anymore. And Rick decided he's fucking done. That he was done. He was done. He just didn't want to do it no more. And so after Rick left, fucking, I was like, we can't fucking play without a guitarist, dude. And that's just the way it is. We just can't play without a guitar player. And basically that's what happened. So Todd said, fuck this, I'm out. After Rick said, fuck this, I'm out, everybody said, fuck this, they're out. So the band broke up. Rick ended up hating my guts because I had to, roughly a few months later, I had to sell a lot of our equipment because I got kicked out of my place. So I had to sell a lot of my personal stuff. I'd sell a lot of the equipment. And I'm like, you know what? And I told him, you know, it says I had to sell everything because we're getting kicked out. We had no room to do anything. So, and I said, well, fuck, dude. And I'm going to replace everything with brand new stuff. No problem. Replace it all with brand new stuff. And he says, you stabbed me in the back. That's what he said. He sent me a letter and said, I stabbed him in the back. You know, all this other shit. He basically told me, fuck you, I hate you. So fast forward 10 years, I heard rumors that Rick died from other people. I never saw him again, never heard from him. About 3 months ago, he left a comment on the Mournblade Facebook. And I was like, oh my God, this guy is still alive? I said, no fucking way. And I was like, holy shit. And I was like, oh man. So I went and messages, hey dude, shit, we thought you fucking died and all this other stuff. And I was like, holy fuck. And he says, you know what, dude, is I only came over to make a comment on the fucking Mournblade pictures that you send up. And basically, fuck you. I don't fucking like you. I moved on with my life. And I'm like, dude, you completely got it all fucking backwards. And you know what he tells me? He says, fuck you. Fuck you. It's basically, he said, fuck you. I'm doing whatever I want to do. I don't need you. And I went, wow. I said, you got to be fucking kidding me. And he basically told me to go to hell. That's basically what he did. He says, go to hell. I don't fucking want to deal with you no more. So I said, hey, ingrate. Without my money, you wouldn't have got revenge on your brother, asshole. Without me, you still wouldn't be on a fucking record, asshole. So take that and shove it up your ass, you fucking ingrate fucking douchebag. So now I have Caleb Bingham of Anesthesia. He used to play in Five Finger Death Punch, and he's the guy who worked on our last studio album, did the drums for. He's going to help me out by showing me all of Rick's chords and all of our studio songs. And if I can learn how to pick it up and play those chords, then I am going to probably reform a new version of the band with me as the vocalist and the guitar, rhythm guitar. I'll see if I can get a lead guitar, another bass player, another drummer. And see if this 55-year-old man still got what it takes to fucking play and do some live shows. But right now, I've been learning how to do chords and plucking techniques, and the speed stuff will come a little later. So there you go. And this is the reason why the Mournblade broke up.